Powder, I'll get to the phone lines. Steve in Virginia, line 1. Steve, you're live.
Good morning, John.
Good morning.
First of all, I want to thank you for what you do because it's really important. And going back to all the times that you've personally helped me with understanding things and getting to the root of the issues. And what I'd like to do today is remind you that one of the biggest failings of Republicans is always allowing our enemies to decide what the narrative's going to be. And when it comes to the narrative, oh, look, you killed somebody, oh, this is horrible. And it's like, look, let's get to the real issue of what's going on. And the fact is, yes, you have a right to protest. You have First Amendment right to free speech, to protest peacefully. And there are time and manner restrictions and place restrictions. You cannot go in the middle of a law enforcement operation and decide to be idiots. Okay, that's how people get killed. But the thing is, this plays right into the hands of the people who are paying for these rent-a-mobs, in that when these rent-a-mobs come along, their strings are being pulled, and the people who are pulling the strings, they're happy to have a martyr. And the thing is that this never should happen, because, the law enforcement should immediately disperse everyone. I don't care what they have to do to get people out of the area, but you cannot go into the middle of an operation and say, oh, I have a right to protest. I can do what I want. Yeah, and get shot, FAFO, like they say. Come on, people, they don't have a lot of sense to begin with, because look at what they're protesting. They're protesting the people who are trying to make life better for people by getting rid of the people who are making life worse for everyone. And I, once again, really appreciate you, getting the truth out to people that, they're not going to find in a lot of other places, including supposedly conservative media. So thank you, John. Thank you.
Everybody's afraid, okay? Everybody's afraid. They're afraid of George Floyd. They're afraid of what happened. Everybody's afraid. If you act with fear in this political environment, you will get your head handed to you. You cannot act with fear. I said the beginning of this year was going to define everything we do on this show, truth and clarity. The truth is, this was self-defense. The clarity of this is, it's very clear. If you put a law enforcement's life in danger, they have a right of self-defense. They approached the car. They approached the car calmly. 2 agents approached the vehicle. This is after the vehicle was perpendicular, stopping traffic. So right away there, you ought to get arrested. They approached the vehicle. They asked the woman to get out of the vehicle. She refuses. She locks the door. She puts it in reverse. She backs up. Somebody's behind her. That person's crippled. Didn't look in the mirror. Jammed it in reverse, backed up. Put it in drive. Turned the wheel towards the agent. Stepped on the gas. Agent doesn't want to get run over and get killed. Jumps out of the way and shoots her in the head. Actions have consequences. You rob a bank, the cops come, you get shot, sorry. Well, I wasn't committing murder. Well, you were robbing a bank. You had a gun, you had a weapon. You were putting us at risk. What do they expect? What do they expect this guy to do? Hey, run me over? Let me be sure I can get out of the way so you can run somebody else over. He doesn't know what other ICE agents are there. This all happens in a split second. Here's the thing that the libtard communists will not say. If she obeyed the officer's command, which we are taught to do, or had a conversation, no one's dead. Ma'am, I need you to get out of the car. If she got out of the car, she's alive, no harm done, except whatever they would charge her with in is obstructing traffic, which is, bad. She didn't follow the orders. What do I tell my son? When you're stopped, you roll down the window. Yes, sir. No, sir. We'll sort it out later. Don't know why they stopped you. Headlight out, switching lanes. Maybe they think you're high. Maybe they think you're drunk. Maybe you were speeding. I don't know. Yes, sir. No, sir. License, son, get out of the car. Yes, sir. We'll sort it out later. She decided to attempt to run down and potentially maim or murder a federal officer, an officer of the law who asked her specifically to get out of the vehicle. And somehow it's our fault. Somehow this is Trump's fault. Somehow this is ISIS's fault. Somehow this is Kristi Noem's fault. Now, I'll tell you whose fault it is. It's the fault of the communists sowing discord among their supporters and paying them. These are professional agitators. And somebody's got to have the balls to stand up to this. Because if we don't, you have no country. Steve, I'll give you the final word, and then I'm going to Mace. Go ahead, Steve.
Well, one of the things that I've heard is that this ICE agent had been involved in a situation where he had been actually hit by a car already. So, once bit, twice shy. But the issue for the libtards there in Somalia Soda, as Tyler calls it, is that they're going to be saying, oh, well, once she turned and wasn't actually directing her weapon at him, he had no right to shoot her at that point. However, while many departments have policies that you cannot shoot at a fleeing suspect, she had already shown that she was going to use her vehicle as a weapon. He had no idea where she's going next. He had to take her out. That was it. End of story for her. And that's sad, but that's exactly what the string pullers of these stupid rent-a-mobs were looking for. They want martyrs because that helps them get more people to join their roles.
It's all planned. And she basically, died for their greater good. This is what they've taught him to do. Whether she was aiming the car towards him or not, you're in front of the car's going towards you. I mean, it's like, he wasn't going to get hit because he jumped out of the way. You don't know that. No one knows that. He also didn't know who was behind him in that split second. Coupled with the fact, nobody's even talking about the fact that she backed up and could have killed somebody there if he was standing right behind the car. He or she is dead or maimed or crippled in a wheelchair. None of that matters, though. All that matters is some rent-a-mob libtard checked 18 boxes. And you know what I'm talking about. Checked all the boxes. Is shot dead. All she had to do was obey the direction of the law enforcement official. That's all she had to do. Unbelievable. All right. Nancy Mace.
There have been a lot of protests in the streets here in the U.S. Saying that it was wrong to do what the U.S. did in Venezuela. But a lot of them, if you look in the crowd or talk to some of them.
The people that are protesting here in America, they're not Venezuelan. We're talking about white limousine liberals that are woke, that have nothing better to do with their time than put down the freedoms of another nation. And there are many human rights violations, which is so ironic to me, is that the number of human rights violations in Venezuela, and yet the left is, screaming to protect that kind of behavior, that kind of violence towards people who just want to be free. It's really contrary to their entire being, to their entire,
This is why I'm a supporter of Nancy Mace. She's going to be the next governor of South Carolina. The woman gets it. I mean, I know her for years. I know her back to 2015. This woman gets it, and she's tough as nails. She's one of the toughest women outside of my wife that I've ever met. This woman is nails, and she has no fear. And part of it is because of what she's been through in life. She has no fear. And look, you can quibble with her on some of the things that she does, but she's going to be the next governor of South Carolina. and what a great vice presidential candidate she'd make one day. If you just heard what she said, she nailed everything. White limousine liberals that don't live there. That's all this is. Libtards. Let's see who we got on here. We got a lot of calls. Let's get to Robin in Virginia, line 2. Robin, you're live.
Hey, good morning, John. I want to share something with you, and I also want to thank you like Steve did. About 2 years ago, my sister from Hinsdale, Massachusetts, put a restraining order on a Muslim man who was coming to the food pantry, and he was aggressive. But yesterday, the chief of police and another officer were both shot by a man that they went to do a 911 call. I asked my sister, I said, illegal or Muslim? She said, illegal or a drug dealer? And she said, probably both. She said, there's so many stores up here, you can't even read the name of them. And this is a town of 1,500 people, and the chief of police and the main police officer were both shot by this guy. You don't hear that on the news, are you?
Nope.
Nope, you're not gonna. Because it doesn't fit the liberal narrative up there in Massachusetts.
Bingo.
It's sad. It's sad what happened to this country. That's the chief of police, and this officer that was shot, they called him the SWAT team in a police officer's uniform, and he was shot and flown to Bay State Medical Center. Sick. This is what has been led into this country. I'm still fighting the guy that rear-ended me on I-64 in Richmond. I'm still fighting that in court. He walked away with a $105 no license ticket, but my car was totaled. And he was driving from El Salvador with no license, no insurance.
Totaled your car, and then your insurance had to pay for it, and your rates get jacked up.
Yep, I had to file a claim through my insurance company, and we're still in the middle of battling it. It's been 6 months.
What did your insurance company say? I mean, they have to pay it. Yeah, you have insurance.
They have to pay it, and they will sue the other company, National General. They will sue National General after all is said and done. And National General is known for giving illegals insurance.
Got it.
I mean, this is sick. This is our country. 1,500 people is the town I came from, and you got a guy and the FBI was. And this is what happened when the cop got there, the chief. They said, "Oh no, the FBI wants this guy," so they called in backup. By then, they were both shot, and you had all the other small towns coming to help these two police officers. And this guy was wanted by the FBI, and he shot both of them, but they had shot him too. But he's not in critical condition. But my concern is the one that was flown to Bay State Medical. Yeah, it's sick.
Sick. We're saying this is sick. I mean, they let him in. It was Obama's vision. They let him in so that they could get votes and turn this country into a communist enclave, and they would have power. That's why they let him in. And these two cops got shot. And I hate to say this, for the Democrats, for the communists that want the Mandami takeover, this is collateral damage for their perceived greater good. They don't care. One of theirs gets shot trying to kill an officer, and that person becomes a martyr. This is how they operate. This is what they're doing to this country. That's why they let him in. And every time one is deported, the reason why the left goes crazy is they just lost one of their foot soldiers and one of their voter bases. And each person is worth 10 votes because God knows what the illegality is here. I mean, the Democrat communists have figured this out. You bring them in, you turn them into fraudulent voters, you give them money, you let them steal, you let them do drugs, whatever they want. And when it comes around, early voting, mail-in votes, whatever, they're there, they're harvesting, they put us in power. And so, you know what? It's an alliance of convenience. That's all this is. These are their foot soldiers. Get this. That Biden and them let in here in Obama. And half the Republicans too. Republicans don't do crap either. Thanks. Thank you, Robin. Let's get to Phillip in Virginia, Goochland, Virginia, line 3. Phillip, you're live.
Hey, how you doing, John?
Good, bud.
I wanted to talk to you yesterday about the fraud in Minneapolis, but I didn't get a chance to call you, and I've given this a lot of thought. I know we've talked before. I think I'm about 10 years older than you, but I can't do the push-ups that you do. So I guess my issue is, with Doge, they came along and they found all the fraud that was going out with the NGOs. But to be expanded, it seems to me that the Democrats, because of Minneapolis, have created all these agencies that they funnel money to, where the money can be funneled back to them in a way. And it seems that they've set it up years ago. This took years and years in planning. So they're getting money from giving money to all these Somalis. The Omar, she's now $30 million richer because they funneled money right back to the Democrats, a lot of it. But then I heard yesterday that they were taking out $1 million in the suitcases with two Somalis going along, transporting it to Somalia or wherever, to Hamas or whatever. So I guess, to me, it's a long-term plan by the Democrats to lay out money for all these agencies. And where do you think every year the report was Democrats have more money in the coffers than the Republicans? Well, all that money has been going out to all these agencies and being funneled back to the Democrats so that they can win elections. And it just baffles me that nobody has picked up on that. This young reporter or this young guy has found this fraud. And if you go to every agency, including Medicare and all this other stuff that they've been loading money into, all that money is being funneled back to the Democrats. A lot of it. I won't say all of it because that's ridiculous, but a lot of it is being funneled back to the Democrats to go into their coffers for the next election. So it just troubles me because I spent 37 years working in a prison, learning about criminal behavior, and to me, this is really where the FBI and Homeland Security and other people need to focus, because if you get them, you can guarantee that Walls and all of those folks involved need to be wearing handcuffs and doing a perp walk like they did to President Trump.
You think Walls is involved in this? That he had knowledge of this, Phillip?
Yeah, I do. I think his negligence, and that's why he's so nervous now. That he's still not nervous enough to shut his mouth, because he's up there running his mouth about this girl that got shot yesterday.
Right. So.
But he's too stupid.
Right.
He's too stupid not to run his mouth. And there should be no slack for him and the rest of the folks that are involved. This guy afraid to tell ICE to get the F out of Minneapolis, I'd smack him in his face. It's just sad to me that the people are disrespecting law enforcement the way they are, and it irritates me to the max.
You think it's going to backfire on them?
Oh, yeah. I hope so. This is only one glitch. I don't want this to go down against Trump, but you know that this officer who shot this girl, regardless of her politics and regardless of her lifestyle, which I don't like either, I think it could backfire a little bit. It might, where we might get 10 votes, we might not get but 7 or 8. But it just irritates me because I believe that it's going to backfire on them. But at the same time, this one incident could be a smear. You know, it gives them a little leverage to be able to say something. But they don't go to the officer. They don't go down to Kristi Noem. They go to President Trump. It's President Trump's fault. Well, that's a crock.
Interesting perspective. Interesting perspective, Philip. Thank you. And you have a great day. Thank you for the call. Thank you for tuning in and for that perspective. Appreciate you.